talk to Harold the H. Cock-a-doodle-doo, Peacock.
Yes.
And he's a historian, a very respected man. How are you, mate?
Oh, very well, thank you. And it's warming up in Ipswich, but it's still cold down here at Armidale, where I am. It's freezing.
I'll tell you what we did. We went down there. Redcliffe Rugby Club went down there as well. There's lots of rugby clubs. And they must have pre-ordered their hamburgers at this truck shop. So we get in there, and Ian Cameron passed away, unfortunately. He was a senior sergeant. He's a copper. And him and Matt Maloney, they walk in and they go, "Oh, is it Redcliffe Rugby Club?" And they just went, yeah, Redcliffe. All your hamburgers are ready. We got them all organised. And as we were driving out with their hamburgers, they were driving. Anyhow, that's a true story. Anyhow, there's a lot of other things I can't tell you. Now, let's talk about Captain Thunderbolt, because this is fascinating.
Yeah, it's another true story. And, of course, I've told you about Captain Thunderbolt before.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking for more supporting evidence. So I'm calling you live from Uralla, which is in the heart of Thunderbolt country. You send me on assignment, I do as I'm told.
I hope you keep within the budget, will you?
Yeah, I will.
I'm camping
out the cold.
Yeah, bivouacking under a hoochie. Well done. Good.
Yeah, that's right. But and it's much like the bushrangers back in the day, because in the 1860s, Fred Ward was the gentleman bushranger, Captain Thunderbolt. Now, he holds the record for the longest roaming bushranger in Australian history. He was on the run in northern New South Wales and the Queensland border region for almost 7 years. And at one stage, I actually believe he came to Ipswich.
Oh.
Now,
well, I think Paul Tully used to say that as well.
Oh, look, I've told you before, but I'm just finding more evidence and supporting evidence, because what I found, first of all, I just want to examine how easy it was to travel by horseback between Ipswich and Thunderbolt's home patch at Armidale. You see, I've looked at the postal delivery service back then. Now, the postal service for the district was reorganised in 1847 by Moreton Bay's Captain John Wickham. Now, in 1849, Wickham was the magistrate who dismissed Ipswich's famous boxer Black Bill on a charge of fighting.
Bludger.
Yeah, he was a legend. And in 1853, it was Wickham who commandeered an Ipswich steamer to go chasing pirates. But anyway, according to Wickham's new postal arrangements, and I quote, "A postman on horseback would leave Armidale every alternate Tuesday and proceed to Toowoomba, arriving there every alternate Saturday. On return, he would leave Toowoomba every alternate Thursday, arriving at Armidale every alternate Wednesday." Are you following this?
Yeah, I am.
And then for the Ipswich and Brisbane leg, a postman on horseback would leave Toowoomba every alternate Monday, arrive at Brisbane every alternate Wednesday.
Right.
On return, he would leave Brisbane every alternate Monday, arriving at Toowoomba every alternate Wednesday, calling at Ipswich on the route to and from to exchange emails. So,
emails? Mail.
Oh, mails.
You said flaming email. Come on, mate.
I'm pleased you're listening. You picked that up. You passed that test. Yeah. And so what all that means is that you could post a letter in Armidale on a Monday, and the best you could hope for a return letter from Ipswich was 4 weeks later.
Nothing's changed.
It hasn't changed, and therefore back in the day it means that Thunderbolt could be in Ipswich for weeks before anyone could be told and get up here from down south if needed. And I think that's exactly what happened when Ipswich's Constable William Francis arrested a man he believed was the bushranger. Now, Francis was famous for catching bushrangers. He caught the bushranger Ned Randall after tracking him for over 320 miles. Another time he tracked for 150 miles the bushranger John Burns, alias Riley the bushranger, alias the hairy man, before arresting him. Now, anyway, back in 1870, Constable Francis was particularly keen to catch Captain Thunderbolt. That's because the constable was in charge of the station at Warwick in 1867 when the bushranger paid a visit there, watched the Warwick races and avoided being recognised, which humiliated Francis and his men. And so in 1870, Francis arrested the man he believed to be Thunderbolt and brought him back to Ipswich. And a sensation was produced on the evening of Tuesday, the 8th of April, 1870, when it became known that Thunderbolt was in town.
Wow.
The police court was packed the next morning. Some Ipswich locals were swearing it wasn't Thunderbolt at all. So Constable Francis sent for an incorruptible police witness who knew Thunderbolt to come up from Maitland. But that's where the postal service and the return travel comes in, you see. By ship and horseback, it was just too slow. The mail didn't get there in time. And so the Ipswich magistrate released the alleged bushranger before the witness could arrive. But I think it really was Captain Thunderbolt who was here. For one thing, the two names he gave to Francis proved to be false, and for months during this whole saga, sightings of Thunderbolt ceased. In other words, he wasn't seen anywhere else, while this man was held in the Ipswich cell. And then just 3 months after the Ipswich arrest and he was released, Thunderbolt reappeared down here where I am today at Uralla and was shot dead on the 25th of May 1870, just 90 days after leaving Ipswich.
They shot him dead.
They shot him dead, yep. And so today I'm here looking for more evidence supporting the Thunderbolt Ipswich theory, and I'll be checking out Thunderbolt's rock, Thunderbolt's cave, and they shot him dead, Thunderbolt's grave. And Danny, I will report back to you.
That's good, because I think I've been to all those things, particularly the rock.
I reckon you would have.
That's close to the highway.
It is. It's the old Cobb and Co. Roadway, you see, because he'd hide behind the rock, and when they came past, he just popped out and robbed them. So, yeah, it is pretty close to the road.
There you go. See, I know my stuff. I'm not stupid. So where can we find... Damien's looking at me with a blank look.
I didn't say a word.
His tongue hanging out like an Alsatian dog.
You can't see his look on radio, so that's all right.
Yeah, listen, it's 17 degrees. It's colder down there. How do we get to read this story and many other stories? And say hello to your beautiful sister, Sonia.
I will. Yeah. Sonia's another sister. I've got lots of sisters. And so you can see this story and more on historyouthere.com. That's my website, historyouthere.com, or you can find links on all the social media.
Now, tell me, just quickly, how many sisters you got?
1, 2, 3, 4.
And how many boys? 1.
I'm the favourite son, Danny. I have been for a long time.
So when did you come along in that lineup?
1, 2. I was number 4.
Isn't that amazing?
So I was baby of the family for a while, and I probably still am in many respects. But plenty of sisters.
Isn't that lovely?
Plenty of sisters for you.
That's lovely. All right, mate. Historyouthere.com. There he is, the man they call Harold the H. Peacock-a-doodle-doo. Peacock. History. Ipswich historian